Morning, I'm State Representative Brian Ellis at the 101st Farm Show here at the Farm Show Complex in Harrisburg. It's always a treat, and today I have a special treat. I get to interview the Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding.
Yeah, the treat's mine. You're here.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you so much. But hey, 101 times we've done this.
I'm always amazed when I say it, right? Because last year we celebrated 100 years and thought, that was just a great event and captured Pennsylvania history and all that. And then you get a chance to start a new century. And you're like thinking, this is amazing, right? This thing has survived through world wars and droughts. And
what makes it so unique that it survives?
I think it's, it's this sort of piece of Pennsylvania, this great way to capture our communities and represent all of these sort of county community fairs we have across the state. All of that comes together here. And I always say, look back at history, right? So it started at a time we were an agrarian society. Most folks at the time involved in agriculture, today 2% are, but it's changed and evolved.
I think that number is a little bit higher in Butler County, where I'm from. I think there's probably a little bit more than 2%, but probably somewhere in that range.
Right. You're lucky to have a few more than the 2%.
So, okay, so if 2%, this is the thing that always kind of gets me, 2% involved in agriculture, yet we're packed every year at this farm show event, merging the farming community with the non-farming community. How do we do that? Yeah. What is the appeal?
Well, the appeal is food, right? Milkshakes. It is that sort of where people touch. They're intrigued with this thing called agriculture. The 2% are those directly involved in production agriculture. I think that's an important point, right? That's the farm level. It begins there. But you begin to look around at the value add, at the food processing in Pennsylvania, all of the extended industries.
The trucking jobs and everything that goes along.
And hardwoods for us is a big piece of agriculture in Pennsylvania. So, but I think the appeal is people like it. It's right after the new year. You get a chance to come in and sort of enjoy the food, but obviously enjoy the livestock and the special events of the new year.
Well, I always think it's funny when I travel around the country, I'll meet somebody and they're from, I'll be like, I'm from Pennsylvania, and they're like, oh, what's the main thing that you guys do in Pennsylvania? I'm like, agriculture. Everybody thinks Iowa and Indiana and other states like that, but we're right there.
We're right in the top. We have 10 commodities in the top 5.
What are those?
Well, you have to think about the dairies, top 5, mushrooms number 1, apples number 5, Christmas trees, strawberries, vegetables. So it reflects where we are too. Right, we're close to 50 million people in the Mid-Atlantic region, and I say if you're in agriculture, in the food business, I want to be next to people who eat. Right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's here. That's right in this Mid-Atlantic region.
Well, I'll tell you what. The thing about it, I mean, obviously, as the Secretary of Agriculture, you deal with a lot of different issues, and as a legislator, I kind of either make your job harder or make your job easy. But last year we did some legislation. Is there anything that you thought we did well? Anything we can improve on?
Well, I think there are a lot of important things happen. The budget piece, and that was a challenge for all of us to sort of navigate. End of day, we ended up, having agriculture supported in a good way, and our land grant institution supported, vet school. There were a couple of highlights, though, in the legislative front. One, with the industrial hemp.
Yes.
Right. First opportunity to sort of venture back into that in any form.
Yeah, all our forefathers did it, and then we got out of that, and now we're all starting to try to do it again.
Yeah, we've been out of it for 70 years,
right.
And but the reality is that we can buy it today, and we do in products. The dashboards of our cars, the side panels of cars. Are industrial hemp.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even realize that.
Yeah, but it's coming from China and it's coming from Canada.
So that's, obviously that's taken us in a former but new direction. Yeah. But as far as what we are doing right here, the stuff that we've been making for years and years, obviously we try to do it in the safest way possible. Would you think that today's much safer than it used to be as far as the food that we're producing?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think just think about sort of farm practice, in the systems that are at the farm level where you have the raw product starting. There's a lot of sort of technology adopted, a lot of professional training and professionals involved in that. You've got a value-added system that is quality controlled in a lot of ways, and of course direct handling at the retail level. It's all safe.
Obviously, we're in January now, but we came out of the fall, and a lot of people in Pennsylvania don't realize it's part of our industry, but the Share the Harvest program for the deer hunters. They get a deer, they don't want to process it, they do that. How's that working out?
You know, we have celebrated this year 1,000,000 pounds.
£1,000,000.
1,000,000 pounds of venison.
Wow.
Going into the food system, which I think where that started 20 couple of years ago is a great development. You know, it's a connection between two great sort of needs, both in terms of food need, but also management of wildlife in our state. To have all of that venison going into the charitable food system is a great story.
I think it says a lot for the sportsmen in Pennsylvania as well. I will tell you a story though. I harvested my own one time.
Yeah.
Didn't tell my wife made sloppy joes. She loved them, and then she found out it was venison, and she didn't really want to have them anymore.
The mistake was you left her found out.
I
right?
know.
Find
My
out. So,
boys, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
They rat them on, but that's the way it goes. Hey, there are others that can learn from Pennsylvania. Part of your job has to be sharing the knowledge that we have here in Pennsylvania with other people, whether it be states. I heard you went to dealt with South Korea the other day.
well, we have, you know, it's a big part of the job is pushing out sort of what we do in the state, both in terms of product, but also knowledge, right? Technology, trying to talk about what we're doing on the research front with Penn State University and the College of Ag and Carnegie Mellon and St. Joe's University, great academic institutions, great knowledge base. We want to take that around the world. It's a real value-added product. Just as we have commodities and the things that we traditionally put in that column of product, we also have a product of knowledge.
And I think what goes naturally with that is not only sharing it with others, but sharing it with the next generation. You see a lot of that happen in here. Talk a little bit, if you can, about what the future of agriculture holds. Are there job opportunities? Is it a way to sustain life, or is it something that families do and also have to do other stuff?
Well, you have a combination in the state. You know, when we look just at straight employment, you know, where we are today, we're projecting 75,000 new jobs or replacement jobs in agriculture over the next 10 years. So it's substantial. So you have roughly 30% of those are going to be from retirement, but the rest is from growth in agriculture. It's a great place to be, a great career path. Now the challenge is, how does somebody know that?
Right.
Right? And that's partly what the farm show is about, you know, trying to get that message out. It's also working with the Department of Education to talk about career pathways. So if you're a middle school student, how do you even know that agriculture is a meaningful pathway for you? So we're trying to get that message out.
And I think that's a message, you know, whether it's manufacturing, everybody's trying to get their message out. I think we do a great job in Pennsylvania with the Future Farmers of America, the 4-H clubs, and, you know, 4-H is even into technology now. It's not just about, you know, what goes on at a farm, because, well, technology is part of it. How do you see Pennsylvania continuing? Do you think we're going to continue to be as good as we ever were?
I think so. I mean, I think the future is brighter today than it's been in a long time. When I look at agriculture, there's been this resurgence in people wanting to know about food. I think it's a great development, right? Because when people stop and think, agriculture wins. When you know who's feeding you, then you become aware of sort of what about that land, right? Is it open? Why is it being developed? Where are the jobs associated with it? It starts a conversation that we haven't had for some time.
Well, this is a great place to learn about all that. I mean,
Right here.
obviously, I'm walking down, I see apples, and they look like the apples beside them. And this one's the blue plate, you know, that gets first place,
Right.
the blue ribbon. This one looks exactly the same. I don't know the difference, but some people do. We've got generations learning it, and we've got great opportunities in Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you what, we're very proud to have you as our Secretary of Agriculture. Having you there in your role is a great thing, and I look forward to seeing you at the 102nd
Yeah, look
Farm
forward
Show
to it
next year.
Yeah, thanks for all your support.
No problem.
Thank you.